Triple KO!
Welcome back to Triple KO, the fighting game video news show. Max is still fucking sick.
I'm sick again. Excuse me. My child got sick again.
When we recorded last time, right, which is a lost recording,
yeah.
He was just getting over his sickness.
Oh, is it? So it's high energy? Yeah.
A new one has creeped into battle.
That's normal. It's normal when you're a family man now. You just get sick.
I think I've been sick 7 times this year, but yes, I'm getting used to it, and it all originated from my daughter. So, hallelujah.
Yep. Guile says, "Go home and be a sick family man."
Yeah, you sick ass family man.
So in that lost recording, unfortunately, we did talk about, and we'll talk about it now, Street Fighter 6 Outfit 3. We had all made our predictions because they announced what the prices were going to be, like when it actually came out, right?
Yeah, they waited to the absolute bare minimum final moment.
They got us.
I think, if I recall, I said $7.99 per costume. And while that's not correct, it's also simultaneously correct.
Yes.
Because you still, if you wanted those coins, this people have already talked about this a bunch, but if you wanted those coins, you needed to essentially buy the $10 pack just to get one.
A lot of us
could get 2.
We were kind of right, but also horribly wrong.
Horribly wrong.
Because some of us were like, you're like, yeah, $7. I'm like, yeah, if it's like $5 or $6, that's like on the barrier of acceptability. But there's caveats to all of it because you got to buy 2 technically to even get 1. And that just throws it all out the window where it's like, that's horse shit, dude. And then, of course, no bundle. You know, you have to buy, if you want to buy all of them, it's $100 or something like that. Oh my God.
So that's the thing. It's been 2 weeks since these have dropped now, right? And the fact that Capcom hasn't just like gone in and be like, okay, here's a bundle that saves you like $20. Like, that's crazy to me that hasn't been offered yet.
Everyone's buying it because, I mean, every time I'm on rank match, a lot of times I would say 8 out of 10, they're wearing costume 3.
Really?
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. At least on like master rank matches, there's like 8 out of 10.
About a week ago, I jumped back into like, I got camis, of course, and then I got juries, of course. So I got those. Yeah. And when I just jumped in just to see myself, like one person was wearing Ken's costume, and that was it. But you obviously play more than me, so you would have a better judge.
Yeah, I played almost every single person I was playing in the night I came back was using new costumes. And I think people are just like, a lot of people like Street Fighter 6, so people will have justification to buy a costume or 2. And to be real, like a costume or 2 isn't that bad. Like $5 a costume, $6 a costume was kind of okay. Albeit the bullshit practice of, you know, everything they got called out on, where it's like you need to buy 2 even if you want to get 1. Really, that's where it really stings.
That stinks.
Yeah.
But the costumes are mostly pretty good looking, you know, mostly. Like Geefs is amazing. We've looked at the quality of the costumes. Like, yeah, they are good. It's just that people are so effing thirsty for actual Street Fighter 6 content that isn't just like weird new characters. And to be real, like Rashid and Aki are kind of weird new characters, and even Ed's kind of a weird new character as well. People are thirsty, bro. Until I feel like Street Fighter 6 doesn't truly get what people want until Akuma drops into that game.
Yeah,
and then like, but once that's happened, like the game is like, I feel like the game is truly launched.
And then I think after that, it's like the costumes for the third costumes for the DLC wave kind of completes what, the first year, I guess.
Yeah, and hopefully Akuma will have his season 1, like quote unquote season 1 DLC costume at the same time. Oh, but it's Cyber Akuma again. Fuck it.
Cyber Akuma would be cool. No,
I've already seen it though.
Yeah, we've already seen it.
It just looks so good. Like if Mega Geef came back, I would definitely buy Mega Geef.
No, I want fruit selling Akuma.
Oh, fruit selling Akuma from the movie, animated movie?
Yeah, no, he doesn't. He has the top of his gi's off, and he's just got like a basket with like fruit, you know, that he sells to the little kid in the alpha artwork.
You know what they? Damn, you just gave me an idea. You know what they should do? Remember the original concept for Akuma in Street Fighter V? Was that he had like a baby on his back?
Yeah, that.
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
They should have a basket on his back with a baby that like reacts to what he's doing.
Yeah, like Spider Cat in Spider-Man
I was
games.
just about to say Miles Morales Spider Cat.
Spider Cat.
Capcom, if you want everyone to forget about your like not so great DLC practices, put a reactive child in a backpack for Akuma. Did you guys catch though? There's apparently like a little quote somewhere that says there will be some sort of December content for Street Fighter 6.
There's the Christmas fighting pass going on right now.
Yeah, it was folded into that where made it seem like some sort of mysterious content in addition to that.
Like a mode, possibly?
Mode or something.
Is it not that anime crossover that's happening right now? With
the Baki?
No, not Baki. There's like a Chun-Li animation with some anime characters.
Oh, Spy X Family.
Spy X Family. Yeah. Justin knows.
I know, of course I know. That is so good. That trailer was so good. But they haven't revealed what they're doing with it. They're just saying that something is coming. But usually when they do these anime collabs or random collabs, it's just usually free like titles or like emotes, stickers like in the Battle Hub, right? It's just mainly for Battle Hub. And I think that's the most surprising one for me because like when I was doing like a Capcom stream yesterday and there's so many people that was on the Battle Hub, everyone was wearing the Christmas outfit. The Christmas, and you have to buy the Christmas fighting pass to get those Christmas outfits. So it's just like, bro, I think they're killing it when it comes to like the fighting pass and the Avatar stuff. They're killing it, man.
And that Christmas stuff is just Avatar things, right?
It's
just Avatar things.
Yeah. And stuff for the UI and
stuff in the UI. But the one thing that they added that was really good was like this Christmas fighting pass. If you get this fighting pass, you also get Puzzle Fighter to show up in the game cabinets.
Like permanently, like you can choose it to be there.
Yeah, it's like it says there.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, so I think that's like their new thing that they're trying to do is just adding like
emulation games.
Fighting pass will add emulation games on top of it.
That's a good idea, man. If suddenly like Third Strike like popped up in there and stuff, or like even New Generation, some weird shit. That's a pretty good idea.
Capcom Fighting All Stars.
Bro,
imagine April Fools, they could do that. But no, here's what I was talking about as per Event Hub's What Up Dakota Hills. By going by the official Buckler's Bootcamp page for Street Fighter 6, they feature an event schedule that lays out the game plans for that month, including all the fighting passes, special tournaments, collabs, and more. What's more interesting, however, is that they have a red marker indicating a new product release, which is similar to what we saw this month on December 1st for the Outfit 3 drop. So on the 22nd of December, it says new product release.
Huh. Interesting.
So
21st of December?
22nd.
Oh, that's Friday.
That's such a weird... Isn't Japan in like... What this is their big Christmas holiday. I think they're in like holiday for at least like a week and a half. They get like 10 days or something like that off. So it must be after that.
But I guess it's like if you put it too close to Christmas, people like are busy or something, with just Christmas stuff. So maybe that's why the 22nd. But yeah, this seems like it's separate from Battle Pass stuff. So it could be just Christmas costume or a Christmas color for the main cast.
Yeah.
That's my bet. That just seems likely.
Hopefully they don't, maybe it'd be cheaper or maybe they add the 300 fighter coin option to buy instead of you have to buy it twice. That would be great.
God, dude, if they can fix this whole thing, if they just give us like, fighter coin increments instead of just the chunk.
Yeah.
But do you know what sucks though? You do that after people like it's been roughly a month at that point. So 20 seconds, like all those people that might have spent like way more than they initially wanted to.
They're like, we're essentially like bullying people into spending $10+ $12. We're bullying you into spending $12 so that you can spend $6, like quote unquote. But you could have gotten people to give you $20. Like you easily could have gotten 20 or $25 from everybody, or not everybody, from a lot of people if you just made the whole costume pack. Just if you buy like 4 or 5, you just get everything. So at the $25 mark or something like that, now you just get everything. Like they could have gotten, in my opinion, maybe this is an economic thing that obviously I'm not an expert in, but it just feels like that just would work out better for a lot of them.
It's just the in-game currency situation. In-game currency is always weird when it comes to video games.
That's fucking weird.
Because if you see that a company is hiring someone, I think there's a specific term for it, for like an online economy expert, like that, you get worried if someone has a position open for that, or they're hiring. That means they're hiring someone to do this shit, to figure out how can we sort of max out our money while being scummy, but not that scummy. Like it's a balancing act for sure. But yeah, along with that, something we didn't really touch on our lost recording is those random little quality of life improvements that also got added to Street Fighter 6, and that little thing about setting costumes so that you'll never have to see a certain. You can ban costumes.
Yeah, if you don't like an annoying costume, you can turn it off like permanently.
I didn't know that.
Really?
It's similar to the stages where you can choose what stages you want to see. Now you can go to a character and choose like the costume 1, 2, or 3, and if like there's low visibility or something like that, just make it so that you just only see the costume you can see.
That's actually genius, because I guess it's probably related to like Street Fighter 5, where they had these wild costumes, and like majority of the costumes were like banned from tournaments, right?
Like Rio de Janeiro Blanca in Street Fighter 4 and shit, you know?
I was just thinking that one.
That's cool.
Because he was like, wasn't he like so golden, or he was like red or orange?
He had huge like ornaments all over him and shit. It was so hard to see what the hell was going on.
Yeah, it's like playing like Sylvie Paula. Can I just take her out of the game?
Yeah.
I do have good news about Street Fighter 6, other than the costumes are generally cool. Everything else about them sucks. I played Street Fighter 6, no shit, for the first time in 3 months. And it's been
since Aki dropped.
Since essentially Aki, I put like a day or two into Aki, and I enjoyed her. I thought she was great. But before that, dude, I haven't played Ken since August. I played Marissa like a little bit, like in September or something like that. So it'd been a very long time, and I kind of like took that break simply because MK was out, and a new Mortal Kombat was actually fun, which is the first time an NRS game has been kind of fun to me since MKX. So I went back, and I was just like, I'm in no desire to immediately jump back in. I'm just going to wait till they have their new content. It took way longer we were expecting. So the costume came out, and I had a great fucking time. I had a great time. I did not burn myself out super hard like most, content creators kind of did on Street Fighter 6 over the past like 6 months. Yeah. So my experience with the game after like taking a bit of a break was just like, this game's fun as shit, dude. Like I was playing Marissa and Ken again. I'm like, this game's fun as shit. And I got Marissa to master. I wanted to do that for a while, and I just played more Ken, and I was like, this character's really fun. He's so good.
Did you pick yourself?
The Ken costume.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The Ken no, that doesn't exist now.
You didn't pick costume 3, Ken?
Just rewriting history now.
I don't know what you're talking about. I picked the Michael Jackson bad outfit, which is Ken's new costume color too. It's like a black leather jacket with black pants. So it's just the Michael Jackson Ken.
You can't promote DNF Duel mods that literally put you in the game, but then like say this costume over here in this game, you have to take it all. You have to love it all the same.
Excuse me. Yes, I can.
Oh yes, yeah. I remember someone when tweeted another quality of life improvement, since like you reminded me.
There were a couple.
Yeah, there was a couple. Like, so let's say a lot of times, let's say you're a seasoned player and everything like that, and you go through your placement matches, you will always max before the update start at Diamond 1. Now, this player said that he got put to Diamond 5 after winning 10 placement matches.
Huh.
So you instantly pretty much almost get master. You just play like 20 games and you're at master if you just win 20
They've
games.
Scaled it up, right?
Yeah,
like the overall skill ceiling has like changed, and too many people, like, that must just because there's too many people in master now in comparison to like the Diamond 5, I think is the last one you get before it.
Yeah, Diamond 5.
So maybe there's just not enough people populating Diamond 5 rank to get you there, but there's more people around like early. Maybe they want people at like 1100 1200 point master rank instead of hovering around Diamond for a long time.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
But to me, that's kind of like, you have to think of it from the perspective of somebody that like grinded their way to master. Dude, I see a lot of people that are like pretty good at Street Fighter 6, but obviously aren't like, can't reach like upper echelon stuff. and they're below 1,000 points in master rank, dude. And it's like, that must fucking hurt. I don't know about this MR shit, man. Like that just seems painful as fuck. You work your butt off to get to this thing, and then it's just like, okay, so you're not even at the default. The 1,500 points is the default. We'll just drop you all the way to below 1,000 or something like that. And it's like, oof, Jesus.
That's painful. I'd rather get downgraded back to Diamond 5.
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. That must hurt so goddamn much.
Another thing kind of related, and like that hurts a lot, is when people were complaining that, all right, Capcom, you're charging me this much for these costumes, but people can turn it off so they can't see that I spent this money on this costume.
Yeah, that is a funny thing where it's like, I bought this, so you're forced to see it, ya bitch.
Like, fortunately, there's no like egregious costumes, or like maybe Blanca-chan, but even then, like that's not like egregiously
it's not bad. Yeah,
it's not bad. It's just like, it's just like, we've seen Blanca-chan a lot. So, but imagine if there was some like horrible costume that everyone like almost unanimously agreed, dude, like, oh, this.
It's coming. You know it's coming.
Oh yeah, maybe.
You know the animal pack from Street Fighter 4 is coming.
Animal pack is cute.
I don't know about that one.
Tanuki, like a guy. That's sick. That's my favorite.
I mean, there's some good ones, but we got the Rufus Walrus one. I'm like, what is this one, bro?
How is that not accurate?
It just looks so weird.
It sure does. Like that. It's like that horror movie Tusk, and the Rufus starring Rufus. Go ahead, Justin.
No, I was saying before we move on, like the Game Awards passed, and Street Fighter 6 won Fighting Game of the Year.
Hell yeah!
We got that Ed trailer, and then we got the announcement of the new VIRTUA fighter, and then
let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about the non-existent VF. That still hurts.
It does hurt.
But yeah, really, it was the only choice, to win Fighting Game of the Year. Like, out of everything, it did the most.
It was either that or MK as a second, right? So it's between the two.
Yeah, I even though I had high hopes for MK1, like it's still sort of, I bounced off that pretty hard myself. Glad you guys are still enjoying it and everything, but just I'm so used to MKs having so much like content at launch, and then you go through it. And even though I wasn't like the biggest fan of how MK11 had its grind, like it was still something to do, to aim for, and everything.
Yeah, I mean that I think everyone, even the NRS players, were saying like Street Fighter 6 should win Fighting Game of the Year. So that even that says a lot.
It was kind of a hard sell for MK1 in general. Just in the launch state of the game, SF6 just had everything at launch. That category came up, and I was like, if Street Fighter 6 doesn't win this, then it's like a travesty. Like, what the hell is going on?
A little bit of me was still pulling for Pocket Bravery, though. Like, imagine, super good game, but
it is good.
It's like that one year where, like, I think it was on Game Trailers back in the day, or it might have been the Game Awards, where like a Kirby game won Best Art Direction, because it was like the Kirby game that was it Kirby Epic Yarn or something like that? It was like one of those Nintendo games that had a really unique art style because it's made out of clay or yarn, and it went Best Art Direction. People were like fucking pissed.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you? Because it wasn't a high fidelity, God of War, Last of Us looking type thing. So it's akin to that. But in terms of indie fighters, we have 2 new indie fighters that have been announced, and both are very different. Both are very cool. The first one is called Knockoff. This thing is fucking crazy.
It's great.
Like you're a kid in the 80s and you have a bunch of action figures in your backyard or in your room, and you just smash them together.
Yeah.
They're all He-Man type things and Skeletor, and it's
Mazinger Z.
Yeah,
a little bit, definitely. There's the mecha in there, like a Battletoads looking creature. Mecha Ghidorah is the name of the developer, which I love. Like, it's amazing. But yeah, this thing has also got like a tag element. I think there's like a story mode. The only thing about it, I'm like, that's kind of odd, is that it's called Knockoff. And when I think of Knockoff, I do think of like
bootleg.
It's not exact. I'm sure that's what they're going for, but when I just think of like Smash or platform fighters or like KI knockoffs.
Yeah,
because it's a fighting game-ish term almost.
The bootleg metaphor is pretty great because they are all our direct bootleg characters.
Knockoffs.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah, but,
and it looks pretty fun. Like it looks kind of like a crazy game.
It looks really good. Like the background is amazing.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like it's all Toy Story backgrounds in the sense that it's always like in a backyard or in someone's house and everything's giant around them, which is pretty cool. But it'd be nice if there was a stage that was like the world that these characters come from, like an extra dimension or something you could fight in, something that like fits in with their aesthetics and whatever. But this doesn't have a date as of right now. I think it's like, pretty early in dev and stuff, but there's some crazy tag mechanics. There's like supers. The sound effects are like so old in a good way.
Yeah.
It's like boosh, from like Street Fighter 2 and stuff, which I actually kind of like because that fits in.
No, it looks really good. I saw people playing this at like Blink Respawn, which is like a DR tournament. Yeah, they showcased it at the DR Dominican Republic tournament for Street Fighter 6, and I'm just like, man, if I knew, I probably would have went because that game just looks so good.
Yeah, you're getting like 30 hit combos, like it's like hyper games almost.
Yeah.
Like you're doing these crazy air combos, and it certainly looks like nothing else. Like it is a pretty good idea. All in all, I hope I get a chance to like play it somewhere, wherever it may be.
Yeah, maybe like a beta or a demo, one of those things.
Yeah, that'd be cool just to get some feedback, because out of a lot of the indie fighters that have been, come and gone throughout the years, like this one certainly looks like a pretty fleshed out, very solid looking.
Seems like a lot of these projects are just like popping up now all of a sudden. Like people just started working on stuff during COVID, and all of a sudden they're like all showing up.
How like, remember how like in like the late 90s and like or mid 90s, like everyone was like, let's just make a fighting game. Like it just seems like we're in the era of like, people are just wanting.
Yeah,
to
you're right. It's just like it's not in the scale of like big companies. Just like let's just make a fighting game. It's just individuals. It's just people going like, screw it. Let's just make a fighting game.
Yeah, and it's taken until now where we're actually like seeing that a lot more often, because in the 2000s, like late into the 2000s, when like XBLA and PS3, like you rarely see like a brand new fighting game. It would be like ports and stuff of old stuff, and now it just seems like people have enough knowledge. There's enough knowledge out there with like frame data being accessible in lots of games, and people understand the mechanics of fighting games a little bit deeper than back then, but. It's this like 2 in a week, in a 2-week period, and there's still other games that are announced that I'm sure we haven't even really talked about yet. There's probably stuff still coming on Steam that we don't know, but the other game, which I actually kind of knew slightly about, that a new platform fighter was being worked on by a development group called Punkzilla. And all I knew is that they're working on one. I didn't know what its name was. I didn't know what it looked like, but I knew it was a platform fighter. And this is Combo Devils. Sick name.
It's
Got
a sick
no
name.
problem with that. Yeah. So yeah, this is pretty much a Smash-like, but again, looks very polished. You have a lot of animal characters, a lot of very, very colorful and everything. Don't really get a good sense of like what its unique mechanics are, but it is going to have like a single player adventure mode where you're doing a lot of platforming.
Yeah, like a roguelite.
Yeah, which is a really good call.
Yeah, I'm curious on it because it's the way they described it in their tweet, a new fighting game that bridges the gap between platform fighters and traditional fighting games. So obviously when I'm watching it, like you have like the Fox Ninja Fox character, and it kind of reminds me of like Fox from Melee, with like the movement, the combo, wave dashes, platform like cancels and everything like that. So I'm curious if there's like, are there going to be like traditional inputs, or like what makes it like, okay, like how do we bridge the gap between platform fighters and traditional fighting game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always the hard part.
One of the final shots shows like a character doing like a cinematic super, it looks like, and the camera just pivots in like this cool way, and the characters have like a filter on them so that they stick out from the background a little bit. In the main video, it's around the minute 40 timestamp, And that looks pretty sick too. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like animal characters, but there's also like robots. Like there's like a punk kid. So it's more than that. At first, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's like brutal Paws of Fury or what's it called? Rivals of Aether. So
Yeah.
it's nice to see that there's other characters too. But yeah, good stuff there. Doesn't have a release date or anything because yeah, I think it is pretty early on, but
2024 possibly. Who knows?
yeah. And it's made by some veterans as well that I think they're just from all over the game space. Like there's AAA developers that have worked on big stuff, and there's smaller indie people. So
We got to give a big shout out to today's sponsor of the podcast, Triple KO, HelloFresh. You guys already know with HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorsteps. You could skip trips away from the grocery store. We don't need the grocery store. Too much traffic. Me and Matt, we live in areas with snow. Maximilian lives in areas with traffic, right? So we got to make sure we skip those trips and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's also America's #1 meal kit. And you know what? This is the time of the year, holiday season. It's going to be so stressful. How much food do you have to prepare? It's a lot, right? So do you want to have a stress-less holiday season? And HelloFresh got your back, right? With the help of them, you can skip the grocery store, save time with all these easy, tasty recipes delivered straight to your door, right? 'Tis the season for giving and gathering, and with HelloFresh, it can also be the season of saving. Save that money. You don't want to buy all this extra food and have it just sit in your fridge and then eventually throw it away, right? You can save money this month to buy more presents for your loved ones because you know why? Fresh recipes delivered, and it's cheaper than takeout, and with pre-portioned ingredients, you'll never waste money on excess food. Max, you look like a guy that loves to cook at home. Eats, has a full family. What's your experience with HelloFresh?
Well, I went to McDonald's the other day, and compared to takeout, it was $19. So,
oh my God!
All things considered, I've been happily sponsored by HelloFresh in the past, and they sent us a few boxes, and I've actually gotten even more afterwards. And the whole point of this is that you can sort of teach yourself like how to make some of these meals. They're all pre-packaged, pre-portioned, like they come with mixes and sauces and stuff like that to make it easy. I remember Jessica preparing some of this stuff, and when we got like the sauce package, she was really curious, like, what are they using in this? She was like trying to dissect it and figure down like, does this taste good? What are they putting in this? Like,
yeah.
It was fun. It was fun just to have everything portioned and ready, good to go. You just pretty much throw it in there. It comes with an easy step-by-step instruction of how to get this stuff done. So this isn't already a prepared meal. This is helping you prepare the meal so you can actually maybe learn a thing or two.
No, I mean, you're not wrong. I learned how to cook with HelloFresh with my wife. We prepared a meal for the rest of the family. And the best part is it's not boring because they have so much to choose from. 45 different recipes and more than 100 seasonal add-on items to choose from every week, right? So that's the best part. So if you guys are interested in getting HelloFresh, go to HelloFresh.com/TKO free and use code TKO free for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/TKO free with code TKO free.
Hey, we can talk about trailers for, I don't know, Leo or Dragunov or any of those. How about we just skip that and be like, Max, Justin, you basically have a build of Tekken 8 at your houses, right?
Yeah,
we made
Tekken 8.
It's right here.
Because you guys were talking about this to me last week. You're like, oh yeah, there's going to be like a Tekken event happening soon. I was like, oh shit, cool. And then you both got to go. So please tell me about the Tekkens.
No, I mean, it was essentially what you'll look at it, and it was like near final. Must have been near final. Like
near
this
final.
This is what is going to be releasing. All the menus, like everything. It wasn't just a truncated character select screen or versus screen. No, there was like, oh, we got to go into Jukebox and mess around with Jukebox stuff, and it's great now, we got to go and do story mode stuff. We got to go see that there's arcade mode stuff, Tekken Ball, like all of that. It's insanely feature rich. And the arcade quest mode is ridiculously cool. That acts as the game's tutorial. but it takes you through like a very guided experience through like, you know, being a complete noob in an arcade to teaching you like how heat stuff works or how this guy is going to do this, do that. Like, I'm like, wow, this is a lot of effort. Seemingly a very lot of effort.
Yeah, and then I'll go for it.
I was just going to say, in the arcade quest mode, does it have, this is how you deal with a guy that has a knife and wants you to get off because he's got next. Does it go through like...
Yeah.
You know, so, it's kind of ghetto.
Cuts away from the game. You just beat this player. He pulls out a knife. What do you do?
They give you multiple choice options, huh?
Yeah. Do an electric wind god fist.
At that point, it turns into Baldur's Gate 3. The dice rolls.
And it's just like, it's a very, very small chance that you'll escape with your life. What were you going to say, Justin?
No, I was saying like the thing about Arcade Quest, it's like, it reminds me of the fighting game version of Pokemon.
Oh,
right?
Okay, I see that.
Like, yeah, like you go to like this arcade, you start at this arcade, and you have to beat all the players, and then you try to win the arcade tournament, and then after that, you finish your level, and then you go to like the next place. Right, so I think it's kind of reminds me of like Pokemon. Like those are like your gym badges. You win a tournament.
Yeah, you beat the top dog in that arcade, and then you move to the next arcade type of thing, which is, you know, funny. And Justin and you, Matt, will probably echo this sentiment. That's very much how it was back in the day too, where it's like, who's the top asshole of this place? I fucking want him here right now. Call him up. You go, a payphone. There's a guy asking for you here.
There was a guy at the arcade he used to play. There's an old dude, like in his like 50s, that had a cowboy hat. He was the best at Soul Cal. Like,
and then there's like the evil rival of the game where it just like and you know the evil rival is like, yo, all I care about is winning. You guys are all scrubs. If you want to come see me at the Tekken World Tour. That's literally what he says.
So see me at the Pokemon Championship, basically.
Yeah, I'll see you at the Elite Four, right? That's what he's saying.
And then it does this fun stuff where it like puts you in your first tournament, like, oh, my first tournament, and you have to like, you know, place and stuff like that, and it goes through this whole process, and then it gives you your ranking, and it has you fight against other people that are similar ranking. But the process of doing this not only ranks you up, it also gives you currency. So you're getting the coins to customize your characters and buy all the character customization bullshit that happens later.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool. Yeah. Tekken Ball, man, it's really fun, but the computer is, maybe I'm just not good. I don't know what to do, but the computer is really good at Tekken Ball. Yeah,
I didn't play Tekken Ball at all. You have to tell me about it. The only thing they said was that it's not like Tekken Tag 2 Ball or the Wii U one. It goes back to the formulaic code of Tekken 3,
right. Tekken 3,
which apparently, according to them, like functions way differently.
Yeah, it's like you have a power level, and then once you get to the max power level, the next time you throw the ball or hit the ball, you can't block it. You can't defend against it. So it's just like you need to rate whoever's the fastest to raise up your power level. You get guaranteed damage. If you don't press the button at the right times when they're not max level, then you could obviously still take damage from there as well too. It's just the computer just plays so close to the line that like if you try to play close, obviously the computer's gonna AI read you and pick the best move possible. That's the really hard part. And they even use like the heat. They go into heat mode right away. They just use
heat on the ball.
Yeah, they use the most powerful attack, and it just comes so fast at you. I'm like, what am I supposed to do here?
I mean, I remember on an episode of Harada's Bar, he said that Tekken Ball is the purest form of Tekken, and that all of your knowledge goes into Tekken Ball to be it's the apex of fighting, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, it seems pretty tough. Yeah, it seems pretty tough.
Going back to the story mode, I have one question about it. Is it ruined by a narrator?
No.
No,
it's straight. So here's a good thing about it, and also potentially a bad thing about it, depending on who you are. The narrator bullshit is gone. It's a straightforward story. It's like a movie now. So no weird cutting back to all this stuff. It's essentially fighting anime Fast and the Furious. Is in the levels of ridiculousness that we're talking about. Like, you thought previous Tekkens were ridiculous? This is like some holy sweet dumb shit, bro. Like, this is some crazy stuff.
It's all about the Mishima family.
So, and that's related to the next thing. You only play as Jin so far.
Oh yeah,
it's just Jin and his journey. So we stop at a certain point, like 3 chapters in, but every single fight I fought was with Jin, and it was like,
that's right.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a roster hopping story mode like most are. We played like an hour of this thing, a lot of fights, and it's just about like Jin dealing with the Devil Gene and Devil Jin and figuring out how to manage that and harness his power. But he's like obviously not there yet. So it's all about Jin's struggle from being a corporate elitist, world-ending dickhead, which they mention in the previous game, you know?
But did you guys ask if like that's the case, or you just weren't able to?
Didn't have any time to like grill anybody about like stuff after. We just got so much stuff to play, but it was just Jin fights.
An hour for one character. That's definitely something different. The only other way I could see that doing it is if like the story mode's like 4 hours long and each character is like 1 hour each.
Yeah.
Like then you switch to Kazuya and then another important character.
It felt like we were on Jin stuff for so long that, this is the way the rest of the story mode is. You just play as Jin.
It might be like that.
We might be like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It might be like that. And it's actually about a tournament this time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like just for the scale of ridiculousness, it's like Kazuya and Jin get into a fight that essentially destroys all of New York City for the most part. Kazuya floats down on his heavenly like devil chalice, and he comes down and there's cameras on him for some reason. He sends a broadcast to Earth, to all of Earth. Everybody. All screens, every screen on Earth is now Kazuya saying, y'all are a bunch of dumb bitches. You need to level up. You suck. And the era of strength will return. No more emotional bullshit. You're gonna fight for your life. So I'm announcing a tournament. And like, it's like, okay, so you're either gonna fight or die is what he's telling the planet. So it's like, okay, so like millions of people have died from this conflict already. So what happens in the next scenes? Well, we cut to a scene of Law and Paul fighting at a Tekken tournament, and there's just people in the audience just like, we fucking love this shit. We're gonna die. Like this is crazy. This is such a ridiculous story.
It reminds, like what you're describing reminds me of like the Tekken live action movie where the entire world centers around the tournament. Like there's nothing else going on.
Yeah, very, very similar. It's ridiculous.
Cool, I like that bit.
It's so like, and the characters are like so unnecessarily serious about everything. There's no self-referential, like everybody is in it. This fictional world is the way things are, and they're not like Marvel sensitive to like a self-awareness or something like that. No. They are crazy anime characters, and they are fully engrossed into this world.
But that's almost like the admirable thing about Tekken is that they can be like that, but then they're like, I must defeat Panda next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like, ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Crazy. It's crazy.
It's Fast and the Furious. Like it's just Jin throws his bike. They scale the side of the Empire State Building and tear the whole thing down. It's like, holy shit, dude! This makes Advent Children look like almost tame.
It's a good comparison. I'm fine, but I don't know how you guys feel about that. Like in general, I'm fine if like they actually go, let's just focus on one character. Let's just tell one story, because I think you run the chance of like having a story that's way too messy if you use other characters. Like Mortal Kombat mostly. Yeah, because that's exactly what they did. And Mortal Kombat usually has 1 or 2 chapters where it's like, that was pointless.
That's
like,
pointless,
yeah, exactly. So doing that, obviously I can see some people just going, well, I want to, use Paul or use Law or use Kazuya. But I don't know. I think overall that might be the better choice, especially for Tekken.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and it here's the thing. It was captivating. Like it was like where the story is going was interesting. When it was finished, me and Justin went like, shit. Like, that's it? Crap, I want to keep going. Like I actually want to know what happens next. So at least what they're setting up story-wise is the most like interesting thematic stuff Tekken has probably ever had. I didn't watch Blood Vengeance, but I didn't hear it was good because it technically focuses around like Xiao Yu and the panda. So this is much better than that.
Yeah, 80% of Blood Vengeance is unwatchable garbage. but the last 20% is the most hype shit ever.
So that's what I was saying. I've seen the last 20% of crazy Jin and Kazuya transformation shit. It's kind of like that. Like it just levels of epic ridiculousness. It's like, holy shit, dude, the whole movie should be like this. That's kind of what they're making the game. Like a lot of this game's story is like the last 20% of Blood Vengeance.
Yeah, because Tekken 7's like gets close to there, but like its pacing is all messed up.
Oh yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah,
I don't mind a narrator like once at the start, once in the middle, once at the end, but then like that narrator segment like is long and they keep showing up like after every chapter, and it just like
and then
just made the thing awkward.
Now you're Lars, now you're Alyssa. It's like you're just jumping around character to character. Like the roster hopping, at least in MK games, makes sense, like why we're going here. The quality of it might not be as good as others, but I don't remember why the hell we were playing as certain characters in Tekken 7 for the most part until we get to like Mishima fights, and it's like okay, this is good, like we're infiltrating this thing and fighting this character. And it didn't help that Tekken 7 story literally had like no Jin until the very end. Like the final scene, literally.
Have you guys ever played the Dead or Alive 6 story mode?
No. I played 5.
That, to me, is like one of probably the worst of modern story modes I've ever seen, because it plays with absolutely no order at all. It's just random scenes, and you play through those random scenes.
And you're supposed to put them together?
Then when you're finished that, they're like, here are the alternative scenarios that fit in the blanks of that. And then it like has a puzzle. And you have to, I can't remember much of it because I was but like it was the most inconsequential. I don't know what's happening at any given second.
Wow.
Maybe there's a guide. Maybe there's a better way to understand it. But as what a story mode is to bring in casual people, like Dead or Alive stuff before that has always been fine. Here's your character. Here's 2 or 3 cutscenes. Here's a fun, silly ending. And they're great. And then I just remember DOA 6 being like incomprehensible. I don't know what they're thinking with that, but any other thoughts on what you guys played, or was that kind of
well, I mean, we played characters. Justin put a lot of time into Reyna.
Kind of important.
the whole time was Reyna.
Tell me about Reyna.
Oh, she's amazing. She's
Nice.
she's amazing. Obviously, she has a bit of the moveset from Heihachi. So she has a lot of resemblance of Heihachi, just in general with her moves. Headbutt, electrics, like the way he dashes, like even like the mannerism of the laugh after throws. Like he has the Heihachi laugh and everything. But she also has like lots of other different stance. I don't know if they're kind of related to like the Kazama style. But it just seems like she has a little bit of like Kazama moves plus Mishima moves at the same time. So it's kind of like even though she's resembling Heihachi, it's also kind of reminds me of like Tekken 3 Jin-ish.
Cool. Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
I've seen some direct comparisons from Polish Prime Minister lady to her as well, like in terms of stance transitions and how much she can do that. It was like, oh, apparently she's got a lot of that in her too.
Yeah, okay. She has a lot of those moves, and I think one thing that stands out is that normally when you think about Mishima characters in like Tekken history, they're always difficult to play.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, how do we get more people to play Mishima characters or stop saying that they're harder to play? So they made Reyna a bit easier to play as a Mishima. So a lot of times when you want to do like the electric wind, like the dash into the electric wind God Fist, you have to do like this like DP motion that goes in a neutral and it has to be like just frame.
Yeah.
Now, if you hit down forward 3, you automatically get the dash. And then after that, you just press 2, and then she'll do like a regular Wind God Fist now. So there's like an easy mode version of doing Wind God Fist now compared to actually doing the whole full motion. Obviously, if you do the full whole motion, you'll get the electric version, which is safe, get the pushback, the big rewards and the stuff, right? So that helps a lot too.
It'd be funny if a character in universe thinks, I can just do this move easier. You know what I mean? Like, why are these guys handicapping themselves with like this obscure, hard to master info? I can just do it. Like, why are they holding themselves back?
Yeah.
Did you see any indication about who exactly her parents are? Like, did you get any hints on that?
There's intros, and she like confronts Kazuya, but even in the intro with Kazuya doesn't know who she is.
Yeah, okay. She also confronts like Jin, but she pretends to be a different like character
in the story mode. Yes, she's a huge part of the story mode.
Yeah, so it's really interesting because she acts like she's Asuka. Like,
yeah, she acts so cute.
Cutesy.
So what is she like Ranny the witch, where when she first introduces herself, she's like, "Oh, I'm this other witch. That's fine." And then later on, she's like, "No, I'm actually a really important character."
It's direct. It's like she introduces like Jin Senpai,
Jin
Desune,
Senpai!
and she's
That's
like, "I'm
funny.
such a big fan. We're gonna fight. Like, I can't wait." And Jin like scoffs and walks off, and she goes like, like she gets all like, "He's a motherfucker."
Yeah, the inner thoughts comes out, right? So it's
her true side comes out. Yeah.
That's what made me like so sad after like we finished up to like I think we played up to chapter 4, and then Namco's like, all right, no more, can't go past that. I'm like, come on, bro, I want to know more about Reina. Like you already pulled me in. I want to know what she's about. So yeah, like I'm so curious on like what's her like main story when it comes to the story mode.
I'm glad that they're hinting at things, but they're not outright saying, because now that like I'm intrigued as well, because they could very well do like she's nobody, she's a rando. Yeah, she's really like Heihachi Mishima style and like Kazama style. That's it. You know,
no, she's definitely a big part of the story. At least it's from the first hour. It definitely seems like she's a big part of the story.
Yeah, she has to be, right? She definitely has to be.
So who did you play, Max? Who are you feeling?
I played Victor like almost the whole time. Like in my arcade quest, I played as him, and then I went to our like training mode, played as him, played some CPU fights. And I tell people he's essentially like 50% Noctis, 25% Raven, 25% Kunimitsu. So doesn't fully commit to every single way, but clearly has like a lot of Noctisisms in him, but also has like crazy Raven stuff and crazy Kunimitsu stuff.
Sorry, I just heard the word Noctisisms.
Noctisisms. He's insanely fun, right? Like if you're talking about like the flashy Soul Calibur character of the game, yeah, it's him. And I had a great goddamn time. Like just so much potential and wild and shit this character can do. So he's definitely going to be my, like, I was going to play Lars and Jin for sure, but this is the character I'm going to start with because nobody knows how to fight him. And he's got like 2 stances as well. He has like a dash-in stance, and he also has an EI stance where he puts the sword in the sheath and does all this shit out of that. And it transitions from one stance to the other from like different. It's crazy. It's like, god damn, dude. No one's blocking this shit for a while. So he's gonna be. I have a funny feeling he's gonna be very good.
Okay, because now Justin's saying all that great stuff about Reina, like. When I played one of the online tests, like I played Jin and King, just because King. But now Reina's certainly going to be in there, and I did see a screenshot of one of Reina's other costumes where she's just like a mom.
Oh, mom, yeah.
What the? She's wearing mom jeans. What is that? That's a choice.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah, everyone had they had the like 4 outfits ready when you like pick a character, so it's like it's kind of interesting. Like I think Victor had like a beach outfit going on too, right?
Yeah, Victor had like a vacation outfit, and then he just had a straight up like tactical Krauser outfit from Resident Evil 4. Just looked like he was Krauser. It was like, what the hell? So cool. there's and the nice part is that there's like 4 costumes for every single character and unlockable ones that are in the store. So if you want to unlock like variations of their main costume, for example, Devil Jin has that crazy like through everything on his chest design in Tekken 8. You can actually take off the coat. And the layer below it, where it's just like the undershirt with like tattered arms, and his arms with like the devil hands, right? With like the old school Jin boxing gloves. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's like a variation. It's like alternate costume one. And then you also get Tekken 7. You also get the classic Devil Jin outfit. You also get a new one with like a bomber. It's like, wow, it's kind of cool. Like a bomber jacket. So there's a lot.
That's kind of not bad, but that kind of really throws the gamut down to Capcom and NetherRealm of here are 4 incredibly different costumes out the gate, and then there's stuff you unlock later in addition to that.
I mean, just immediately saying, like, Street Fighter became one of the most feature-rich Street Fighters ever, so props to them. But if we're just talking about, like, what Tekken 8 is offering right out the door, from what we played, it really seems like it's a shit ton, dude. Like, this is easily the most feature-rich, I think, Bandai Namco fighting game out the door, maybe next to, like, Soul Calibur fucking 3. So... And Soul Calibur 3 had a shit ton of just content all over the place for days in that game. So there's just so much stuff. And I didn't even get to play all of it. I forgot about Tekken Ball. There was so much stuff. So it's not just the costumes, because obviously, hey, these costumes are just in the game. And they're really good costumes. They're like, a lot of them are really cool. And there's a lot of them. It's also the fact that the game just comes with jukebox mode. And jukebox mode is like great. Like, they fixed it. You can like actually randomize a playlist now, and instead of it just playing random songs per round and stuff, it actually shuffles, coordinates by the actual track you're looking at, so it doesn't act all funky the way Tekken 7's does, where you have to like manually go and make a playlist for every single thing. It doesn't do that anymore. So it's like, oh, it's great. Like, the jukebox is perfect. So I just played Tekken 5 music and randomized Tekken 5 music for all the stages. I was like, this is fucking dope, dude. Oh my God, I was so happy.
And there's like a ton of music already there, right?
Yeah, I mean, already Tekken 8 already has songs all over the place, right? Brand new music all over the place. So that just on top of it is directly comparable to Street Fighter, where people are willing to pay money for a jukebox in Street Fighter, and we don't have it. Yeah. So, you know, that comes out the gate in Tekken 8.
Yeah, because you could choose like either from Tekken 1 all the way up to or keep the Tekken 8 music going on. And yeah, Street Fighter, you have like your jukebox mode, but you can only use it in the battle hub, which is kind of unfortunate, right? Like, I wish I could do it in game. But, you know, I was wondering, right, because there's the jukebox mode and they have all that music, do you think it comes out the gate like unlocked, like already all unlocked?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Because in T7 it was like that, but it was only on the PlayStation version, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I know King of Fighters 15 has an amazing jukebox mode too.
Yeah.
But you have to unlock the music by beating like the arcade mode with like specific teams, specific characters. So that's how you unlock like the different games. But like when we played the Tekken 8, like the full game like playtest, like all the songs were ready.
Everything was ready to go.
Yeah,
Tekken
it was ready to go.
Revolution music, tag music,
Everything.
whatever. So I'm going to call it and say that's the way it is, because that was the way it was on PS4 Tekken 7. You just got everything. But like, once again, the functionality of it wasn't nearly as good as this one. This one just runs the way you would expect it to.
Oh yeah, there's also Super Ghost Battle, which they improved.
Oh God,
yeah, they like pretty much it's literally a clone of yourself. And you could send it out the world. People could download it. So I think like, yeah, when you have like, you download like pro Tekken players, like maybe like Ani or Osh and Ass, have it in your system and try to fight them. I think that's like pretty cool, right?
That one of the only other disappointing things was, and it's a weird complaint. The hardest difficulty of the game, CPU wise, was piss easy.
It's so easy.
Like they were terrible. Like the hardest, like very hard difficulty, like the bottom difficulty, and
ultra hard. Yeah.
They just didn't block shit and didn't do much. It was like, what the hell? So the most challenge I got out of the entire experience was fighting my own ghost, and was kind of like blocking stuff and acting like somewhat of a hard AI in some way. So it was a little disappointing, because we thought we could just AI versus AI, hardest difficulty, MK1 Street Fighter stuff. Well, we'll see some shit here. They don't do anything, man. They like launch you and just look at you. And it's like, come on, dude.
And this is in versus mode, or is this a story mode?
Anything versus CPU.
Anything.
Yeah.
Damn, okay. Because Tekken 7's story mode, I think there may even be some type of Rage of Boss video out there. It's super hard on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I don't know if that was the case for the story mode directly. I think we just played on normal because we didn't want to spend too much time. I didn't want to spend too much time like waiting on shit.
Yeah.
But there was options. All I will say is that if you just fought the computer in offline versus, just CPU, piss easy.
Easy.
Still weird though. Like, what a weird, like, you know, difficulty doesn't come up, like, you know, for CPU that much in fighting games anymore. That I don't remember. But you can't be too easy. You can't be too hard.
Yeah, exactly. So, it was definitely an actual negative how easy it was. It wasn't teaching me anything how to play the game, you know?
Maybe it's like a thing that they're doing, like, oh, we don't want casual people to fight the CPU and just get bopped constantly.
Maybe.
But still, there's still a balance you have to strike there. Regardless, all that sounds really, really good because, you know, the time that we've been doing this show, and anytime any of us get like an advanced build or an online test, or, you know, go to a show and they have a build, we're always kind of like, how is this going to be at launch? Like, will it have, you know, an amount of content? Because we all know it needs to have a ton. So great to hear all that stuff is, like, you know, looking really good for the launch. And it's January 24th. Yeah. January 25th.
That week.
Yeah.
That week.
Does it have a does it have
Early
like an
access?
early access?
Maybe.
Yeah,
that's
it
what
might have
fighting
been-
game. That's what fighting has been doing lately.
I mean, look, Tekken 8 released it. I think it was like maybe a bit later, like the 28th.
Because it has 2 editions, has a deluxe and an ultimate.
January 26th.
I know that's the date.
Right in the middle.
Steam for some reason says the 25th, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
I think it's just too early, and it's probably gonna be like, you know, this, midnight on the 26th.
Something like that.
So
But it looks
yeah,
great. Like the only, I'd say, like, this is absolutely a surefire. You're gonna have a great goddamn time with this game if you're casual, looking for single player content, looking for multiplayer content. The only caveat
netcode
was that the beta tests have not been the greatest so far, and those are beta tests. You got to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it'll be dope shit by the time it comes out, but both of them have had different things that were rough about each test. So
yeah,
let's just hope.
In terms of hopefully things will be less rougher, the Rumblefish Plus was announced a few weeks back. This was a confusing release. The Rumblefish 2 is what came out before and had a lot of issues at launch.
Yep.
A lot of weird issues at launch. And part of that was locking previously free bosses behind DLC. And if you pre-ordered the physical version of this, you got a very basic PS2 port, the PS2 port of Rumblefish 1. That's all it was. It had no enhancements, no anything. And now this is basically taking that Rumblefish 1 and then doing the same sort of enhancements to it, online play, etc. So they're doing that. And by the time this podcast is out, this should be out. I think this is out on the 14th. I think Rumblefish Plus for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and, okay,
random.
Because PlayStation 4, that's fine. It's playable, but like I don't know if that will be playable on Xbox Series X's and S's, but whatever.
Yeah.
Switch and PC. It will launch for consoles on December 20th. So this should be in like a day or two. The bosses will not be locked. The bosses that were locked in Rumblefish 1, they will not be locked by a paywall, which is good. So hopefully, Dims is apparently working on this with the publisher.
The 3GU. Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, part 2 was not the best, and I guess this is just like combo package ish sort of because because Rumblefish 1 was just, like you said, basic, just ROM, and that's it, nothing, no features. But yeah, I mean, I love Rumblefish 2, but man, I think they bombed it. For sure they bombed it last year.
Yeah, just like you bombed that the sales for that arcade bombed that you convinced to get Rumblefish 2.
Yeah, I convinced
money.
I convinced Chinatown Fair to get Rumblefish 2, and I mean, we had a little core group play it, but for sure, it definitely did not get its money back. For sure.
Why they started with Rumblefish 2 and not 1, then go to 2 is like, I know Rumblefish 2 is just generally better, but it's still like, you know, odd. Here, we're going to release Street Fighter 3, but let's start with Giant Impact. Okay. Weird. So yeah, after that, this was a joke. It's not that funny anymore because I have this down as a new VIRTUA fighter was announced at the Game Awards, except it wasn't. It is an online enabled arcade version, a new arcade version of VIRTUA Fighter 3. You can only play in Japan, only in the arcades. Yep. And Sega is just like, yep.
It's definitely a choice. That's for sure. It's definitely a choice. We were just trying to remember what we said. It was the last podcast, but to me, it's just more of like a reassurance that they're doing something with VF, right?
Okay.
That
Okay.
I think all it is not like, yeah, this is the pinnacle result of Virtua Fighter after Ultimate Showdown's like relative success. We got 3TB boys in our Japanese arcades. Let's go. No, I don't think that's it. And even after the crazy Game Awards announcements for Sega, which was, a crazy announcement, the fact that it wasn't just one game, it was like, oh, it's a complete new direction for Sega in general to revisit their old franchises. The Sega of America CEO, which is a Japanese CEO as well, straight up talks about Virtua Fighter and talks about like the challenges of Virtua Fighter and making it for a modern age.
It's not flashy. We need to find a thing to do to make it a bit flashier, which is not incorrect.
You're not incorrect, because I think you do need a gimmick of some kind, but at the same way, it's an acknowledgement that he's acknowledging the exact same thing we've known about Virtua Fighter for a long time, which is the adaptation of Virtua Fighter for a modern audience. Because the last time they made like a brand new VF for a brand new audience was 2005, dude. It was actually VF5. So it's been a shit ton of time that we're making this new fighting game for a new era type of thing, a new audience. So how do you do that? Ultimate Showdown was just a new coat of paint. That's all it was. It was sort of like proof of concept, like, hey, we can still make a fighting game. Look, we did it. We put it in a new engine and people love it. And it's the new de facto way that, just Japan esports is popping off again, which is awesome. But, they need to innovate.
If I was to choose, like, you could choose one thing to change, it's like re-record new sound effects.
No.
And new yes.
No.
You don't like the sound effects?
Keep the old sound effects as an option.
Have two options.
Option.
Okay, options.
Yeah,
yes,
option.
Fine. But new voices especially.
And I've been saying this for like a while. Like, how do you revolutionize Virtua Fighter for 2020 and 2023 and beyond,
while still keeping it Virtua Fighter?
Exactly. And I think you obviously, like, visually it's got to look fucking good. Gore.
We got to get the slowdowns, man.
I think it's just like highlighting cinematic moments the same way Tekken sort of did.
Yeah.
And Tekken did that. But that's not exactly revolutionary. That's just like cool and fun.
It would be for Virtua Fighter though.
I think it's like it has to be online, globally accessible. You need to make a 3D fighting game that actually works online and is fucking good. Like, the netcode needs to be fucking good. So
there should be a battle pass, and you should be able to win things by playing.
Revolutionary. Absolutely.
Or they could just do what people have been doing for 3D fighting games. Just give everybody supers. Some type of super.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's not exactly revolutionary. It makes a lot of sense, that they would eventually add a meter. I think, like, Virtua Fighter's revolutionary element could just be raw accessibility. And
what would the super type be called? Like, Rage Arts and stuff. Like, what would be the Virtua Fighter equivalent? What would that be called? Virtuosity.
Virtuosity.
Virtuals. I don't know, man.
Virtua Blow.
Virtua Blow. But even the lead Virtua Fighter guy says, like, this and we will not make another Virtua Fighter unless we have like a really good fucking idea, because every other VF is built on the pinnacle of bringing something completely new to the table. The only one that didn't was Ultimate Showdown. Ultimate Showdown was an old thing coming back with a new coat of paint. So and it was a lower budget project. It was made in less than a year. So, I long story short, I think they've already come up with something, and they're at least acknowledging it. And they're like, yeah, this is really challenging. I
could see that.
This is really difficult to do, to revolutionize Virtua Fighter and do something that's snappy and catchy. It's really hard. They've already fucking done it, dude. They're already working on it.
Because when Ultimate Showdown came out, they were talking with the producer in charge of that project. And that was like, what, 2-3 years ago?
That was 2.5 years ago. 2.5
years ago. Thank you. And he said the same thing. I looked this up and he was like, yeah, we're looking at Virtua Fighter, but, it's tough to bring it back exactly. We need some type of gimmick, or, paraphrasing here. But that was like 2.5 years ago, which, if you're still saying the same thing, that actually is not negative in a way. That's like, that was our problem last time, but we're still not ready to announce anything.
Yes.
We're just going to keep saying that same thing. Like that,
Yeah.
that's more positive than negative to me, at least.
They're just waiting for the right. Again, this seemed like almost a surefire. Virtua Fighter's got to be in there, and they announced everything but Virtua Fighter. I think still it's an inevitability. It's still gonna be there somewhere. You just have to wait a little bit longer, because I'd imagine, just based on the look of all the games that they were presenting, I think VF might be the actual one with like real big in-house Sega budget.
Yeah, like, and I can't wait to see the gore. So one slight thing, Max, I didn't see this, but like it was today that like someone found a new trademark application for Sega to re-up Altered Beast,
Jet Set Radio,
and Eternal Champions.
And Eternal Champions. This will be the fighting game Sega will bring back.
I mean, why not? Let's just cut off some limbs out here, man.
Yeah.
Gore.
Yeah, and Sega in-house wouldn't be the ones to make that for sure. It already looks like a lot of the games that they're making are not made by Sega in-house, and we already, what was it, Lizard Cube that did Streets of Rage 4?
They did the artwork, yeah.
And they're the ones
Crush
making
did the gameplay.
Oh, I see. Apparently they're the ones making Shinobi.
It looks a lot like it, yeah. I don't think there's any like mega confirmations that I haven't seen yet, but I mean, it looks exactly like it.
To me, this sort of, outside of a few obviously like big projects and fighting game things that could be happening, they're doing something very similar to what Capcom did in the early 2010s, which is where they sort of fish out their IPs to several studios around the world and get them to make their versions of these games. It sort of looks that way.
So Sega did that around that time. That was like the whole thing behind Golden Axe Beast Rider for the Xbox 360 and PS3. And it was such a disaster that they stopped it immediately.
Yeah.
But, you know, Capcom kept doing it and like made like one or two good ones. And then all the rest kind of like failed. Like Sega tried that once and then they're like, yeah, okay, no,
that's
this isn't working, you know?
So, I mean, I have high hopes because they've already been licensing out their games, and we've gotten pretty good games as a result. Unfighting game related, but you know, Forever Entertainment did a pretty bang up job with Panzer Dragoon remake and House of the Dead remake. Those games are fucking dope, dude. So
they were rough when they launched, but they patched them like really fast,
really quick.
Really quickly too.
So
I was surprised with those.
I don't want that with VF. I don't want them just to give VF to some, you know, developer, some like
Arc
mobile
Systems.
I mean, Jesus. Well,
Everything Arc
that.
System.
But you know, for a lot of other franchises, it's really exciting. And Eternal Champions, imagine some dev that's a big 2D dev getting that game or something like that. It would be super cool.
Cool.
Right.
If they're a little concerned with something flashy, it's like I wouldn't mind like having a test bed be like maybe Fighting Vipers. Do that, see how that does, and that's a flashy thing, and then like work up to Virtua Fighter.
Yeah.
Because it's you know, it's a more of a spectator game almost, where it's like all this crazy shit's always happening. So
yeah,
but Matthew, the amount of people that knows what Fighting Vipers is mostly on this podcast right now.
I love Fighting Vipers.
I know, me too. I liked it more than VF back in the day.
I like some of the characters a bit more. Like there's like one or two characters of Virtua where I'm like, yeah, they're awesome, and like everyone else I can take or leave. You know, like yeah, they're fine or whatever. But like everyone in Fighting Vipers is radical.
There's a bold new initiative to expand the Fighting Vipers audience, and it's in the new. It's actually in the new like Yakuza game because Fighting Vipers 2 is in it.
In the Yakuza game in the one that currently released or the one that's coming out soon, the RPG one?
I think it's the one that's coming out soon, Yakuza 8 or something like that. Fighting
Okay,
Vipers 2.
that's the RPG one.
Yeah,
that's
Fighting
the
Vipers.
Infinite Wealth one.
Yeah,
Infinite Wealth.
It's getting a port, I think, of Fighting Vipers 2.
Because Fighting Vipers 2, you can only get a port of it on the European Dreamcast. You don't know how many copies of Fighting Vipers 2 I have. That one I got from a convention, and they put it in a fucking North American box, like a jewel case.
Okay.
Like it had, like someone reused it and slipped some in. So I thought, oh my God, it has some crazy North American version. And I put it in my fucking Dreamcast one play.
It is, it's like a Dragon Gaiden. It's the one that recently came out with Sega Daytona 2. Yeah, those are the
that's
two.
the beat 'em up one.
Those are it was two Model 3 games. It was Fighting Vipers 2 and Daytona 2 that were in there.
Okay. Shit.
So that's how we're gonna run Devo, right? We got to buy the Yakuza game and run Fighting Vipers 2 from the
Yakuza only tournament.
I tried Fighting Vipers 2 recently, and that game's fucking wild, man. Like the Charlie, the bike guy that could get on his bike and do ollies and shit and juggle you in the air with his goddamn bike and do like BMX tricks with it. I'm like, this is one of the coolest fighting game characters ever.
Yeah.
I think I'd also be really, really happy. I think we all be like a really basic port of like, you know, those Xbox 360 style ports.
Oh yeah, those are
of
great.
Like VF2, just that of Fighters Mega Mix. Put that out right now. Like I'll be happy for like a decade, because I never get to play that easily.
Yeah,
that's always rough to have to.
And the harsh reality is that it was a Saturn exclusive game. It didn't even have an arcade version.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy to me. I looked that up like not even that long ago. I was like, yeah, that came out in the arcades.
Nope.
Okay. No, but it came out on the fucking game.com.
Some funky 2D port.
No, it came out on the R Zone.
Yeah, that's the reason why Fighting Vipers looks really rough too. It doesn't look as good as VF2, but it has like so many characters in it, you know. But it was Saturn exclusive. So
yeah.
You know, that's kind of the I would, to make Virtua Fighter more appealing, if there is a future for VF, I think they should take a Fighters Mega Mix approach and just get other Sega characters in there, man. Just fucking do it. Like
it came out on the goddamn game.com. It was a 2D fucking console.
I think Virtua Fighter needs to get rid of its purity, because Virtua Fighter is a very pure fighting game with like specific characters representing specific fighting styles. They're all rooted in relative reality for the most part.
Martial arts simulator.
It's much more of a martial arts simulator than most like 3D fighting games, much less Tekken, you know?
Yeah.
So I think they just need to drop that a little bit. Just fuck it, man. And kind of go crazy.
Like Wolf should be able to do like promos and like do wrestling shit. Like he should be able to take out a chair like Beowulf or something.
Yeah.
These are good ideas that I have. This I find like just no one was talking about this. DNF Duel announced new character Battle Mage. That just kind of came and went. I don't think she's out now though, right?
I don't think she's out yet.
It's like late December maybe.
Yeah, I don't think she's out.
I have zero interest. It's a cute little girl magic chick.
That's your character.
I love this so
much.
I love it so much.
It's like it's the DNF version of Athena, man.
It's so unfair that I love it so much that I can't play it for other fighting games. I just can't play it.
She comes out on the 18th, so like probably
a few
the
days
day before this podcast.
And also, like as we're recording this, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising is essentially launching. So
yeah, I actually did pre-purchase that on Steam. I do want to give that a go.
It's pretty great. It's very fun.
I'm excited to try out Nier. Like she's like the puppet character in the game, so yeah, I want to try her out.
That's a very content-rich game with a big single-player dungeon story mode and everything, and now it's apparently got 4 characters for free with a bunch of other free stuff if you just want to try it. So for anybody listening, if you were sort of turned off by Grand Blue when it first came out, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, this is a much different game. It's a lot more fun, and it's free, so you could just download it and see if you like it.
Free is a good price for any fighting game thing. So villain of the week would be one Harada, who like 10 hours before the Game Awards announced Guilty Gear Strive DLC. I
mean, it was already leaked beforehand anyway. Like he just retweeted it.
I just like, what's happening? I thought someone hacked him. Why is producer of Tekken announcing Strive DLC? But no, he didn't retweet. He made a tweet that's like, I am announcing that Elphet Valentine is being added to
no, but then he tweeted like, oh, he messed up. Like somebody's like, somebody tweeted to him, it's like, how does it feel that you're the leaker now? And he's like, God damn it. That's what he said.
I didn't see that correction.
Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, it was already leaked like, I think like a week before Game Awards.
Really? I didn't know.
Yeah, people were unfortunately already talking about it. But they didn't leak the 3v3 though. The 3v3 was, I believe, new, but Elphet, the character, was like, yeah, Elphelt's coming, and everyone thought it was fake. But yeah, it was actually her. And then they also announced 3v3. for Guilty Gear Strive. It's kind of like, it seems like it might be King of Fighters style, because like you just see 6 characters on the screen, and then that's it. We don't really see too much of it, but I just don't see it being like 3 characters versus 3 characters, or like a tag battle right away.
Not a tag game, a team game is what it seems like it'll be. Yeah,
like it's probably gonna be like KOF style type of thing.
It's still cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
When I first saw this character, just a screenshot, I was like, eh. Then you
Same.
see what she does and
Same.
what her gimmicks are. I was like, oh no, I am so into this now.
Yeah,
like
she's sick.
Really cool.
I fell in love with her as I was playing her on a stream, and I was just like, this is the last character I wanted to see show up in Guilty Gear. The last one. And then she's actually crazy fun now. They made her like a Rushdown Unga Bunga sort of character with like 360 no scopes and shit. And they made her like a death metal J-rock band sort of chick.
Yeah, she's
and it's
baby
like,
metal.
Wow,
baby metal,
this is so fucking... She's actually incredibly cool now. So I am 100% down with the reversal waifuism of her.
Yeah, and like, so I didn't actually look at the clip. What is the clip with her talking to Nagoriyuki?
Oh, she's like in love with Nago. And Nago's like, what the hell are you talking about? We have work to do. I played the story mode recently. And she has a pretty funny arcade mode. And she teams up with Nago in the end of it and everything. And, you whoop on some NPC's ass. It's fun. It's just, and also that arcade mode of Strive is a lot better than it used to be as well, if you haven't played it in a while.
I haven't.
So it has some very fun things for every single character and some alternate routes and stuff like that. So... yeah, she's really, and you just play her, man. Her combos are friggin' wild, dude. Her neutral's insane. Her mix-ups are insane. She seems very good.
Did you get a chance to play her, Justin?
I have not. I have not played, but I've seen other people play, and people were saying she kind of reminds people of Noelle from Blaze Blue.
Wow, what a pull.
Yeah, so
it's been a while since
I
heard of
I know, right?
Character's name.
So it's pretty interesting, and I mean, you have people that stop playing Guilty Gear Strive now playing Guilty Gear Strive because of how fun Elphet is. So I think in terms of that, they probably like even her looks. Her looks amazing. She screams at the mic. Like it's everything about her is really good.
Yeah. And like it was since I didn't know that this character was like a leak beforehand, and then suddenly they're just kind of like out the next day. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's weird because even though like Strive is in this like, kind of nebulous place where it's still like, pretty hype, but like, it's kind of died down a little bit. And then it's like DNF Duel is still going on at the same time. And they announce 2 characters. It's just like, and one is kind of like,
dude,
way more interesting than the other.
Dude,
so...
this was me. This was me as I was like, this whole first couple of weeks, I was like, stop. Like,
stop.
Killer Instinct update, Dragon Ball Fighters rollback netcode, new DNF character, new Guilty Gear Strive character, Quan Chi's also. I'm like, stop. Can you guys please just stop? Not at the same time.
Thank you for bringing it up. I actually skipped over it, but yeah, Quan Chi, Chameleon. There was a they were announced not too long ago at a Brazilian expo, but they're I think they're out tomorrow for early access people.
Yeah, I think so.
Quan Chi is at least.
Oh, for Quan Chi tomorrow?
Yeah, Quan Chi's tomorrow. I think Quan Chi's tomorrow.
Sure.
Oh, that's cool.
And Chameleon's down the line a little bit.
Like a month later or something.
Hey, let me check when Quan Chi comes out. Maybe I have Chameleon unlocked,
Yeah.
Maybe the PC bug. Who knows?
Yeah, so the only thing I saw from the combat cast which happened today, was Chameleon's fatality, and it has to be, without a doubt, the most boring, nothing fatality I've seen in the
I haven't seen it yet.
Do you want to, like, spoilers, or do you want to look at it?
I'll see it eventually. I'm not super...
You want to do your reaction to it?
That moment doesn't hold much value to me, so you can tell me what it is.
Yeah.
If you can actually react to this, like, make a face, like, just naturally, I'd be surprised.
Okay.
She takes out Katana's fan.
Got it.
Cuts off the opponent's head.
Got it.
While the head is in midair, she throws 2 of Melina's sides through the eye sockets.
Oh.
Okay.
And then it says, Chameleon wins.
Wait.
Does the head hit the ground?
Yeah.
Where's Jade?
What?
It's not in it.
Jade, no staff?
Nope.
Oh, man.
So I saw
Sounds
that.
about like a 4 out of 10.
Yes. A live Rate the Fatal. So I saw that clip, and then I went over to Event Hubs. Like, are we talking about this at all? Chameleon's fatality in Mortal Kombat 1 feels a bit uninspired for a character that has 3 classic fighting styles.
Yeah.
Pretty straight up. Yeah. That's... It really feels like that fatality might have been like maybe slightly rushed out because she does Jade shit in the game as her assist and just nothing.
Yeah, it's weird because she has like 3 variations. I guess like the new cameos they're pushing where like they have multiple variations, such as like Tremor has variations. So yeah, Chameleon would have 3 variations as well too. But it's just weird that it's not included in the Fatal. That's just really weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Look, it's true that most of cameo fatalities are kind of basic, like they're remakes of old fatalities and stuff. But you know, Chameleon doesn't. I don't even remember if Chameleon had fatalities in Mortal Kombat trilogy. Sorry, triology.
Triology.
I used to say triology all the time, and I was like, I should never admit this. This is so stupid. And I actually had people that said I used to say triology too, because they had no idea how to say this word. And I was like, oh, this is what must it feel like when doves cry. And I don't even remember if the Mortal Kombat Armageddon for Wii Chameleon had any. No, they wouldn't, because they're in Armageddon. No one had their own fatalities. Never mind.
Everyone had custom fatals, yeah.
Yeah, or they're all shit. I did check out some other stuff of Quan Chi. Does seem pretty cool that he can call forth like eldritch shit and like tentacles and stuff.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be a good character. Like in terms of like him coming out and just doing cool like magic stuff and like summoning stuff, I think he's gonna be a great character for Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, I didn't see what his fatality is or what his X-ray R is like full kit, but just judging by the trailer that they had the other week, I was like, that's cool.
It's the first fatality with the glass. Like you just split.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
the five pieces of glass and then everything, and then you just split. I think that was kind of boring, but like usually fatality 2 is the one to look at usually, right?
Yeah, there's usually one that's better than the other.
But I did see lots of praises and happiness on Twitter after the combat cast. Kung Lao's hat is nerfed.
Okay, so what? You just spoil me. What did they do to it?
I don't know, but they just said it's like rest in peace. Everyone's just saying rest in peace.
Okay.
So it's either maybe the cooldown is longer, or maybe the hat's not a low anymore, so it doesn't set up like these hard blockables. Max is like, come on, bro.
So I mean, I'm not like disappointed with that because low hat was a problem. Low hat was a problem. It's just that who's next, Justin? Who's next on the chopping block? You know who it is.
Goro.
What's the next? Goro? No, I don't think Goro's next after that. I think there's an obvious new assist that is like pretty fucking good. That is just gonna get it.
From watching tournaments right now, all I see is besides Lao Hat is either Goro or Striker.
It's Striker.
Oh man,
Striker 100%. Because Striker makes like everything safe after you string because all of his grenades are ambush assists.
Yeah,
and they're very good.
I read it. Kung Lao's low hat isn't plus at point blank. So yeah, you just
is
can't.
That it?
And it just seems like it. You just can't.
Okay.
So that means you just don't keep your turn.
To be honest, that's actually good because that was bullshit. That if you called hat at the end of stuff, it was your turn again. Yeah, that was kind of bullshit. And so they need to keep the low functionality of it, and its usability is like still going to be very good. That's actually a fairly decent nerf if that's all they're doing.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. So it's just not plus, and you don't keep your turn, and I think that's fine because that's pretty much like another Baraka thing, right, going on. No, another Cyrax thing. You just like keep your turn going.
Seems like Darius got a new assist as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, an overhead axe kick.
Yeah.
But it doesn't launch, which is weird. But
he had that before. He had like something where he jumped and flipped and then did like a delay overhead kick.
Yeah.
It's like his overhead axe kick.
Gotcha. So it's like they maybe separated the flip and just gave him the kick. I don't know.
I think so. And also crossplay confirmed for February.
Hey. So I'm definitely. If you said February.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's the game's original release date.
Yeah.
Right now. I think the original release date of MK1 before like weird shit happened last year was probably February, early 2024. So
yeah, February makes sense.
Yeah, things are coming online in the appropriate time frame, you know.
And I think they're including Wi-Fi filter as well too. People were saying so that's nice that they added that, because a lot of people were complaining about that. So I think the only thing that is not confirmed, but it's like there, is the online training mode. That hasn't we don't know when that's coming out yet.
Still no actual like private rooms that work though.
The bare bone minimums.
Yeah, eventually we'll get that old stuff that was in MKX and MK11.
Yeah, well, the things launched in February, probably like have them all, pretty soon. But speaking of waiting a long time for things to come, Max, did you have any fun playing any fighting games via an online netcode patch recently?
Dragon Ball Fighters was absolutely wonderful.
It was great.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
It's some of the most fun I've had with the game since the goddamn beta. So when it was like new and fresh.
Initial beta.
It's initial beta. That was the most fun I had with Dragon Ball, was like those betas, and then it was just got more and more depressing as the game came out. Yeah. That experience was just great, man. And it wasn't just that, it's that the game changed so much since the last time I played it a year ago or a year plus ago. So many more fun, cool, crazy things characters can do. That game is actually wild. So and then you play it online and it just friggin' works, man. I had like one match that was kind of stuttery, like a little bit. Everything else I played was just awesome. Like I was losing and having a great goddamn time.
Nice.
Yeah, like I reinstalled it on Steam, but like I just didn't have a second to boot it back up. But did you also partake, Justin?
No, I have not played Dragon Ball Fighters during the beta, because I was like traveling. So because I was traveling, I never had a chance to play it. But I just noticed that people were playing like NA versus EU. They're having exhibitions. They're having tournaments. And everything, like, they were all happy. So yeah, I mean, they successfully did it. The wait seemed like it's over, but now the beta's ended, right? So now we just have to wait again for the official release date. But I think based on what everyone's saying, it's been so successful.
There was only like one weird thing that was happening, and the rollback was not working correctly on stage transitions. When you knocked a character like into a wall and it would cut to like the wrong spot or something like that. So that was it. That was the only weird visual error that was kind of happening. But the rest of it was like, felt like it was running on DNF Duel / GGStrive netcode, man. It was awesome. It was like, whoa, they did it. Like, I think it took a long time to get here. It took like a year and a half to get here since the announcement, but we got here, dude. And it's like, it's actually super good.
I'm wondering if they'll do anything extra. Like, let's say this has a big resurgence in players like online. Will they this is the last update they'll ever really do. Like, I think they've said as such, right?
We don't know, because it always seems like the game's done and then they show up and there's like a new big balance patch or something, or some big adjustment. So, but that's the thing I also wanted to talk about. Like, it's bonkers what Arc System Works is up to right now, because they're revisiting Dragon Ball Fighters and adding rollback netcode to it. They're still adding characters to DNF Duel, technically, even though it's an Arc Sys aiding game. They're still in mid-season for GGStrive. Like, there is... Oh, and they just released a giant new full package Grand Blue Fantasy Versus with new characters, new adjustments, new story, like everything. They have 4 active fighting games in development at the moment. And they're all games that have already been released. And you know, what is they have to have something else that isn't requiring full development staff, right? Like an actual big game somewhere in the background as well. And that's like
Fighter.
And that's
Virtua Fighter.
That's the big question, is that are they getting like a big IP, you know, like a One Piece IP, which seems to be really hot and has been, you know, floated around a lot. A lot of people are questioning, like, you know, the lead, the CEO, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, was floating around the idea we want to move into Western audiences and get different properties outside of just Japanese things. So it's like there's a lot here that can potentially happen, but we just have no idea what the heck it is. All we know is that those guys are busy as shit. Like, they are not a huge development team, and somehow they're pumping out content for 4 fighting games and clearly are working on something in the background. And to be real, that thing they're working on in the background could just be Dragon Ball FighterZ 2.
Yeah, I could see both. I mean, One Piece also makes sense because it's like, you know,
it needs to be the next anime one.
Yeah, and like, you know, people never kind of stop talking about One Piece. Like, there's the Netflix show; it's gonna have a second season. People actually like the Netflix show. Yeah. Which is crazy. So yeah, I could see both. Plus those mock-ups of people making like what a One Piece Fighter Z would look like with a select screen. I was like, that looks pretty sick.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. Them's Fighting Herds. We mentioned this on our Lost podcast of Destiny.
Oof.
This is some bad news, unfortunately, but it's like, yeah, just out of nowhere, the developer and their publisher that was purchased by Modus Games just suddenly said, yeah, we're finishing up this game. Yeah. Sorry, we can't give you the promised story mode that you guys kickstarted. Because I often forget, because Them's Fighting Herds was all kickstarted back in like 2017.
Yeah.
And story mode was like a big thing of it. And I think there's like, they had a little prologue that you could play. And unfortunately, even though this has happened like 2 weeks ago, there's still no, I didn't see one, but there's still no concrete clarification as to why are you abandoning it. A lot of people are like, maybe just it wasn't selling, because even after you have kickstarted your game, you also hope to make profit when it's available to everybody.
Right.
And that's the only reason people can see, like, they just wanted to move on. And then I think we were kind of theorizing that maybe something else has come along. Maybe another IP or a thing or a project has come along, and maybe they're hopefully, because the developer is not closing down or anything, or at least not yet. Hopefully not, but like, they're just like, yeah, we're just ceasing development of this. We have like another character or two we want to drop, maybe some new stages, but the story mode is just essentially canceled, and people are just not very happy.
Yeah.
I think there's some review bombing on Steam on it as well, which it previously did not have.
And, you know, the reveal that they're losing a whole bunch of their staff, they're just getting laid off, was kind of like, oh, okay, I don't know if they're actually moving to another property or franchise. It doesn't seem like that's the case now. It just seems like cuts.
Yeah, it's like right now it's like its recent reviews, like 100 reviews recently, have all been mostly negative versus its overall thing of very positive. I think it was higher than that beforehand. So yeah, people are not happy. I'm not sure if giving a negative review will help the game. You know what I mean? When people are upset and they do that, it's like that. It's not. They know that you're angry just by your comments. Like, and unfortunately, when there's a decision like this, it's not going to be reversed, or it's very unlikely that it would. You know, like Capcom not giving us the bundle when we clearly want the bundle for the costumes. But like Justin said, people are getting them. You know,
they're paying top dollar.
Top dollar. So we have now entered the Killer Instinct portion of the podcast. So the main event, really, because we are the KI podcast. And Justin, since we last talked about this, you hadn't yet played it yet, the anniversary edition of KI with a bunch of new balance changes, and now you have since played it. I didn't watch your video on it yet. I fooled around it with myself. I'd like to hear your thoughts. It's coming back to KI in 2023.
Yeah, I mean, I always had an appreciation of KI, just like watching, like when I watch Combo Breaker and everything, they like Rick always puts it like as like the main game on Saturday as like literally 8 hours worth of KI, and it's just always so unique to me because like it's one of those games I was like, it's so easy to get into, but such a hard game to master, like really hard to master. Probably one of the highest levels of that. I tried out Kilgore, and I had a blast playing him. He was actually super fun. And obviously there were other characters that were really, really popular online that I fought, and they were giving me a run for my money. Like Arbiter, oh my god, Arbiter. Bro, Arbiter, I was just like, yo, when is it my turn to attack?
No, you don't.
I just couldn't.
You need a clever shadow counter. That's about it, and then or just a DP, you know.
Yeah, like everybody, even like when I was watching other people stream, they were fighting Arbiter as well. It just seems like he seems like the try-hard character online, it seems like.
Yeah, and because his game plan is like simple and effective. You know, you have some funny zoning, but you just knock somebody down and throw a grenade up their ass and
yep.
Eat it.
Pops.
Yep.
Yeah, you just really have to hold it. It's like before there was JP's OD and Mija, there was this Arbiter grenade thing. But it was just really fun. And you know, Keats was in my chat, Max was there as well too, and it was really fun, man. I wanted to try other characters out. Like I wanted to try Cinder, I want to try Aganos. Like the characters really are probably one of the most unique fighting game like diversity cast like I have ever played.
Oh, it's almost too diverse, but at the same point, it's like the game has universal systems where you can almost play every character the same. It's just that some characters, if you play them one way, will just get a lot more damage, and other characters have such diversity that you have to use those diverse elements to actually get good damage. You can't just do opener, some auto doubles, some linkers with Cinder and expect it to do any damage. Like, no, you have to light them on fire. Like, that's how you get your damage, you know? But then you get other characters like Arbiter, which just throw a grenade up your ass and do pretty good damage.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did talk about this a bit in our Lost podcast. I keep referencing. Just in the sense that like, I did kind of feel watching the initial live cast of this. This is like a lot of Iron Galaxy talking to some high level players and then feeling themselves that these are things we want to change that we felt were not working exactly the way we intended, rather than like a full like balance. No one's going to get like a ton of new shit. And they never said they would, but I was kind of hoping for at least everyone to get touch-ups. And like what? Like 40% of the cast?
It was like half the roster actually got changes.
Half? Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, that being said, I was just pulling for Orchid buffs, and she did. So buffed I was happy enough with that.
This is like the 6th iteration where she's been nothing but buffed. So now we'll see how it goes. Now she maybe is okay.
She's playable now.
I think the overall like balance consideration of the game is definitely focused around a very small niche subset of like the game was played in a certain way that was unintended, and like you said, they wanted to make adjustments to that with the highest level in mind. So will any of the majority of casual players see any difference of gameplay? Very few will.
Outside of Jago DP damage,
and that's the one thing is like Jago's an uppercut your ass and you're losing a quarter of your health. It's like, whoa. And in a game where, you know, you have to work for your combos and that stuff can be broken, sometimes it's better just to DP somebody with Jago. So that's like the big one. But outside of that, it's all back end stuff. It's making Killer Instinct actually work. The game runs and looks a lot better on console now. Like, it's no longer nearly as dark as it used to be on console. It looks more like the PC version. So that's great.
So yeah, I updated that. I couldn't update my Windows Store version and got all fucked up. There was a Windows Store issue and I just can't download it for some reason. I haven't tried in a couple of days, but I haven't actually gone to my Xbox Series X to check out the console version because I've been playing the Steam one instead. And I mean, that always looked good and didn't really have any issues with the dark levels and stuff. But yeah, I just, you know, again, hope that this is the start of more shit happening with KI. I think Max and I were especially blown away by new character art on the select screen. Was like not even like almost fell over my chair because it's like you've been staring at these portraits for like the last like 9 years.
6 years technically.
Yeah.
Even longer.
Since season 3,
So yeah, like that to me, like visually, that's one of the biggest things you'll see that is different is like, oh, the characters got completely new artwork, like across the board. Holy shit. But outside of that, it's like kind of like a quality of stuff, and there was definitely some things in the game that were a little weird. Inputs were feeling a little weird, even though they said they didn't change anything. And as of recording this podcast, there's actually another follow-up patch to fix some bugs and stuff, like Riptor's ground fire wasn't working super well. Little things like that, and that's just the nature of a fighting game that gets an update after 6+ years, where you have people playing one version of a game for so long, you get so comfortable with that version. I can definitely tell Justin and myself this, which is why the majority of people play Third Strike on Fightcade, because that version is possibly closest to the arcade version that people remember that folks played for so long. You can really notice small input differences and stuff on the Anniversary Collection, as well as even Third Strike Online Edition to a small degree, even less. But those degrees are just a little off in a way that will put off the folks that have been putting 10+ years into it. You're just so familiar with it. Yeah. So if Third Strike was continually updated, you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't be deeply, intimately familiar with so many parts of the game. And that's kind of what happened with KI. People are just so familiar with everything. As soon as one little thing is off, it's like, oh, this feels weird. And I immediately fired up Fulgore, completely new character, started doing stuff, and I'm like, something feels weird. Yeah, I haven't even played Season 3 really that much comparatively, but immediately I could tell you it's like, okay, yeah, inputs feel a little weird. Sometimes I'm doing quarter circle forward, quarter circle back motions. I'm just not getting them. And
were you doing that on console or were you doing that on PC?
PC version.
Okay.
So it was a lot of people were reporting it on console as well, and yeah, the KI guys were like acknowledging it. They're like, send us videos, send us input videos of this stuff, and apparently they've identified a lot of big issues in the game, and there's another patch coming up soon to alleviate that stuff. So that's just you can immediately tell if you've put so much time into something, right? And especially the guys that are really good at the game, something feels off, bro. Like KI actually got harder for some reason when that patch came out. It got more difficult to have like precise inputs. It needed way more precision. So it was like, this feels weird. It should not be this difficult.
And quickly to reiterate for those that didn't catch the live stream or see the news, is that if you own KI and any guys, like, it's a free update. Once you just upgrade it and install, and then like there's a couple of like changes for buying it if it's brand new, if someone doesn't have it. But now it's been a little while. I kind of forgot the details on it.
Yeah, like the old definitive edition.
Paths.
Yeah.
The biggest one is that you can no longer buy Killer Instinct 1 and 2 Classic.
Because they came with the definitive edition.
They came with the definitive edition
of it.
And they were essentially taken out for what future history we don't know what they're going to do with them. But they had to be taken out because they were making the ESRB of the game rated M. So there was content in the definitive edition of KI
Orchid
that was making the game rated M when they wanted it to be rated teen, and Killer Instinct has, even old KIs have historically been teen, but those ratings have been adjusted over the years and now they're M. So, where those games are going to go, I don't know. Where if they're ever going to re-release them, I don't know. But being a part of the whole package was like causing some issues because now you needed to be 18 plus to buy this shit.
Yeah, because KI 1 on Super Nintendo is rated teen, right?
Yep.
But the thing is that Orchid's Flash of Fatality has like these extra alluring animations in the arcade version where it's like she's unbuttoning it and like
you know what she's doing.
Exactly. But the Super Nintendo version cuts out a lot of those animations, so it's just like bang, and then she just like it's sillier looking. So I think maybe someone reevaluated the arcade version. Is like, man, this shit's sexy as fuck. This has to be rated mature.
I'm 99% sure that's what it is.
It has to be. Like, even on YouTube, it's like I showed Shiva's humiliation from Mortal Kombat 3.
Yeah.
Where she turns around and balances plates and you see her thong, and like I had an entire video demonetized for that 3-second clip.
You showed 1/10 of Virginia. You're out of here, man.
Virginia.
It's a stop motion puppet. Come on. But yeah. Well, I asked Justin and Max. You were just kind of, where do you feel that this could hopefully sort of go? Like, are we at like a new beginning for KI? I mean, we have Iron Galaxy back on.
I think Iron Galaxy's availability is probably the biggest part of it, and maybe they were available for just like a little bit here, but it seems that they're like coming back and working on shit. right?
Yeah.
This wasn't just like, oh, we made this patch a few months ago. You know, we bug tested it. It's out. See you later. Like, no, they're working on more patches to fix more stuff as of right now. So it seems like they're available. And in my opinion, that's like the best case scenario. Like the best case scenario is that this is the beginning of a relationship again, where this could lead to more Killer Instinct and actually like a new game with an actual budget and shit like that. So, you know, I have every goddamn finger crossed for this shit, but I really think that the best developer for this game is Iron Galaxy.
Yeah, because Microsoft, I mean, we kind of they've had problems with some bigger games lately, like Redfall. There's weird stuff going on with that Perfect Dark reboot. And this is like a known quantity. You had these guys that made this game under like tight deadlines, tight budget, and you kind of need a win. And this seems like a slam dunk, either like, you know, updating this game with even more stuff or making a new one. They know how to do it. They seem like they're available now. So, and I'm not sure if Microsoft noticed, fighting games kind of hot right now.
Very hot.
A lot of big ones coming out, a lot of indie ones that we're talking about. Hell, we have a whole podcast where all we do is talk about fighting games, but mostly KI. As far as my recollection goes. So I hope it goes somewhere to, like, this patch is great, maybe another patch after that, and then like actually moving on. Because when you look on social media, when they announce like, oh, the patch is coming and this news for that for KI and that news, like the number one thing I see is like, are we going to get a new game? Are we going to get a new game?
Oh, because that's what everybody obviously wants, right?
Like, we all want that, right?
Yeah, like we've been looking at this shit for 10 years, dude. Like that's the clear thing where, in the same way of like a Darkstalkers, where it's like, oh, we're just going to give you more of the old Darkstalkers, where it's like, no, that's not what people want, man. At least with KI has enough like notoriety and good word of mouth, and by many accounts, by like large reviewing sites and stuff like that, KI is up there in like top 10 best fighting games ever type shit. So, you know, if you don't need any more proof that people like this shit. The accolades are all there, man. And it still has really good online, and it still is like super fun to this day. So, you know, the only thing that's going to get people really like up and over doing backflips is going to be like a teaser for a new KI. And I think whether or not that's in the future that's where you have to go. And if we're going to get small things for this game, I'm down with it, man. Like I'm
down with that.
It's cool to get small things. This game's friggin' great, dude. It's still hella fun. And, you know, but it's clear what everybody actually wants.
Yep.
Yeah, so stay tuned in 2 weeks' time for the next episode of the KI podcast. Bye.